What's up? What's happening? You right here on the truth. It's cutthroat. Look, I'm gonna get straight to it. You got this Mr. Jason Whitlock. He hit a spot on me. Jason Whitlock got a show. He do his thing, and one thing I see he based this show off of, as he say, is Christianity, and he was speaking on the subject when it comes to the black male, which is really the Aborigines. And I'm not sure why these educated so-called black men or African American men would not introduce the title Aborigines to the quote unquote black community. But the thing is, he's kind of judgmental. And that's where I want to get to. You got a guy right here, he's speaking on Aborigines and, quote unquote black men and their ties to Christianity and why they leave and things of the sort. And he dug in on this subject by way of using the Cam Newton and Charleston White video. And at the same time, he didn't want nothing to do with Charleston White, but so happened he led to this particular time to do the video. Now, I know this was some days ago. I know it was like some weeks ago. And but it just kept digging at me. So I just want to pop this out. Y'all can take it as you want. But one thing I don't like is a hypocrite and someone trying to sell me to Christianity at the same time be disrespectful amongst others. I don't like the hypocritical bullshit that goes on. And since I've been little, I was brought around that. And my last time going to church was seeing the pastor rush out of the back of the church after flicking so many pages, get his point across just to hit none. And then leave out the back of the building when we was leaving on his break or whatever the case may be. He hit that cigarette so hard, he lit it up, and I seen it glowing like Rudolph's nose. And then I just looked at it and I said, it remind me of the dope fiend that was in the back of the hood, man. This nicotine, these so-called, drugs that they allow to be used to be called something that's normal, but then otherwise call other things that's natural, not normal, and label it drugs. It's kind of weird to me. And I'm not into cigarettes. I'm not into that type of stuff. And but I'm just peeping the guy and I'm just like, he's no different. So when I see Mr. Whitlock and he's speaking his piece and talking all of this, like, oh, well, this guy, trying to make himself look like he's up here. In reality, I'm going to show you a bit about this man's character that's really going to show otherwise. So, let's take a look. Check it out.
For this, let's get rolling here with today's topic. It's about Charleston White. I know many of you perhaps have not heard that name. Many of you have, particularly if you're deep off in the manosphere, off into the internet world, off into the podcast space. Charleston White has seemingly come out of nowhere and made a name for himself. Black dude, mid-40s, from Texas. He just did an amazing 3-hour sit-down interview with Cam Newton, the former NFL quarterback and former NFL MVP. Cam does a podcast. I think he calls it Funky Fridays, and Cam dresses up and does his thing and interviews people. And generally speaking, Cam's podcast isn't that interesting. I peek in on it from time to time. This conversation with Charleston White was amazing.
Congratulations on a brother hating on another brother, speaking on a brother's podcast, saying that it's boring. At the same time, this dude likes to peek in time to time. If it's that boring, why even peek in at all? At the same time, since you're so popular, why would you even need to look at Cam Newton's podcast? And the thing is, what will make you dig into it just recently? And here it is. Mr. Charleston White. But don't be a hater, my brother.
Absolutely
Don't be a hater.
amazing. And
Don't be a hater.
I've seen TikTok videos of Charleston White, and they're very profane, they're very ghetto. I didn't get Charleston White. I used to see his stuff flash across, and I was like, who is he and why is he important? Where did he come from? Is he a comedian? Is this serious? What's going on here? I was very confused. And he's friends with Alex Stein. Primetime Stein does a show here at the Blaze. You guys know Primetime. He's been on this show, friend of the program. Primetime goes to city council meetings around the country, in the Texas area, anywhere he can, and clowns people. Primetime is friends with Charleston White. And I would say a month ago, Primetime reached out to me, Jason, you got to connect with Charleston White. You got to have him on your show. And I was like, man, I don't know. Doesn't that dude cuss a lot? And, my show's from a biblical worldview, and I'm just not sure if he fits what I do. And so I was uninterested. And again, I didn't really know what Charleston White was about.
There you go. Don't y'all know when people like to judge a book by its cover? And the thing is, they have all of these thoughts about you and you ain't even worth it. But turn around, you so happen to be bigger than them. Turn around, that you is more lively than them. And that word is calling us ghetto just because we natural. We not caught up by some scripted book. Ain't nothing wrong with talking proper, but that don't got shit to do with being programmed. It's okay to talk proper, but that don't mean you talk in a specific way. You have your own accent. And if you're not using your own accent, then something's wrong. That means you're trying to satisfy someone that's not you. And a lot of people scared of it. But I'm going to say, a lot of you afraid to act who you are because you're trying to satisfy your Caucasian counterparts. But the thing is, I say this, if your Caucasian counterpart really your friend, they would not be making you feel any way, shape, or form wrong about how you talk in your accent, in the way you present it. Because if I understand you, why do I need to correct you?
Never sat down and consumed some full podcast or a full interview of Charleston White. Cam Newton made me do that. Many of Charleston White's highlights from that interview started screaming across social media. And it's like, whoa, what, he went off because, he curses a lot. He uses the N-word a lot. And again, we're going to play a lot of clips from him and Cam. And this is why I'm telling you all that today's an adult show. This isn't for you and your 10-year-old boy or 12-year-old daughter. This is for adults because Charleston White is pretty raw. What I learned during the 3 hours of watching him with Cam Newton is like, whoa, there is real substance to Charleston White. And I started seeing like, oh my God, this is why Primetime Stein is trying to get me to reach out to Charleston White, because
there's real substance. Views. Damn. This is why I could have been Cam Newton. I could have been the guy having that conversation. I'm more articulate than Cam Newton.
Charleston White says a lot of things that we say here on Fearless. He just says it in a very profane, comedic, raw, politically incorrect way. Not that I'm not politically incorrect, but this is like Andrew Dice Clay and Richard Pryor talking from, I wouldn't even say a biblical worldview, but a common sense worldview.
if you're not politically correct and he's not politically correct, then why say anything? You're trying to apply his energy to your show. More revenue. You're trying to apply his energy to your show.
And so this Cam Newton interview shook me up. And it's a 3-hour interview. I've watched it twice. And that's in probably, I probably watched it 5-6 days ago. And then I watched it again this morning, preparing to do this show, or whenever it came out. Maybe it came out on Friday or Thursday. I can't remember. I watched it then, and then I watched it again this morning. And so I want to walk you through step by step some of the comments, let you learn a little bit more about Charleston White, and why I'm calling him. I got 2 nicknames for Charleston White. The first one is Malcolm X rated. That's when I sat down and listened to him in totality, I was like, this is like the porno version of Malcolm X. Charleston White, like Malcolm X, got in a lot of trouble early in life. Charleston White went to prison for murder at 14 years old.
So, we're going to get to the next clip, and we're going to continue this. But as we get to see a bit of this dude's character, here you go, you're going on Cam Newton's show, digging in on his views, digging in on his clips, and, pulling in from his views. You making money. You making money off of this, right? Won't you show respect to the brother that you got it from? Why can't? And then he act like he ain't no Cam Newton show name. If you go on the show and you check in on it time to time, how the hell you don't know the name of the show? Please show people respect for using their clips. I'm showing him respect by talking about it. You get what I'm saying? So, man, I don't get it, man. These dudes tripping.
And he unpacks this in his interview with Cam Newton and explains things in a detail and in a rawness that's like, whoa, this dude is transparent like we are here at Fearless. Now, again, so the first clip I want to play from you is early in the interview with Cam Newton. Charleston White talks about something. This is probably in the first 5 to 10 minutes of his interview with Cam Newton. He somehow dives into talking about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and I found this very fascinating. Let's play the clip.
When the FBI studied Malcolm and when they studied Martin, one went and spoke and came back to the hotel and prayed and talked on the phone with his wife, and he was Muslim. The other one went and spoke and came back to the room and partied like a motherfucker in every town he went to. That was the Christian. So it's a difference. One was studied full time.
How do you know that though?
Because
now you're using my platform trying to bring all this speculation of Martin Luther the King.
Because it's documented evidence. Okay. The FBI said that Malcolm X was a saint compared to the doctor. It's very well documented that Dr. Martin Luther King was just like any man. He was a whoremongering preacher.
Damn. And I'm going to tell you why Whitlock used that clip. Because that clip was powerful. A lot of y'all never looked at it like that. When it came to the Muslim and the Christian, a lot of y'all never really paid attention, but y'all just turned up the head and didn't really speak on it. A lot of us knew about Martin Luther King, having women. A lot of us knew about it. But see, in the midst of trying to tell a story about and give the biography and tell a story about our struggles, we don't tell about the little slick shit that goes on in between. Because King is pretty much like the pastor. And the pastor gets all the attention. Because the pastor is the one that passes the word of the Lord. And anybody who want to get in good with the Lord is to go through the pastor. Because so-called the Lord is the one that gets the word. That gives the word to the pastor. So, somewhere in their mind, they feel like if they get in good with the pastor, they can get in better with the Lord. Like a chain of command. Let's keep that shit in mind. Let's go to the next clip. Next clip, because this shit is real.
So
I want y'all to pay attention.
I'm playing that. One, he said something fascinating about Malcolm and Martin that people knew. But also, I just want to give you a taste of where he's coming from as it relates to religious faith. But
plus, to get the views. To get the views. Whitlock is an opportunist. He's an opportunist. He's a view whore. He's like any other YouTuber. And my way to get my reviews is by finding truth. And with his ass on here lying and pulling what he pulled, hell yeah, I'm gonna feast off of motherfuckers like him. You cat, you cat.
the point he's making about Malcolm and Martin, it speaks to something we try to address on this show, or we certainly are going to spend more time about black men and Christianity, and why someone like an Andrew Tate leaves Christianity and turns to Islam, turns to the Muslim religion. And this is a burden that we as Christians have to carry and have to accept and acknowledge, that we talk a good game, but we don't act it out. Our actions aren't in alignment with what we say. And that's why a lot of black men have left the Christian faith, and why masculine, serious men, and again, you guys have heard me talk about Andrew Tate and what I think about him and his lack of credibility and all that. But Andrew Tate has tapped into men who are like, hey man, let's cut out the BS. Let's be real about it. And they consider whether they think Islam or the Muslim religion is flawed or not. They at least, it's real, it's authentic. They try to live out their actual principles. And those of us in the Christian faith, we don't. We pay it lip service, but are our actions actually consistent with the lip service that we pay? So that's one of the flaws that we as Christians have been making. And if you've watched this show, you've heard me talk about Jason Whitlock sitting up in a strip club, talking about his Christian faith. You can't do that. I'm making a fool out of a very special religion. I'm making a fool out of, or I'm representing God in a very foolish way. And so that's, and again, now Charleston White's being.
I'm going to end it right there. See, this Mr. Whitlock, the shit that he on. The game that he played. It ain't for trained minds. The game that he play ain't for people with common sense. And the shit he talking is weak. But I know that it's a lot of weak people out there that's ready to feed off of stuff like that. Because he speak on people in the hood or the ghetto, but the thing is, he's nothing but a couple blocks down. He's nothing but a couple miles down. And just because he's behind a fence or a long ass road just to get to his house, don't mean the same shit don't goes on in different places. It ain't like bullshit can't travel. Bullshit is like air. Bullshit is everywhere. You smell ass in the air. Everywhere. And he's an ass. I need people to understand that. Peep game. Because I'm a small guy in this world compared to pieces of shit like him. Because him, he just make me so small. Because as you see the shit that he do and the moves that he make, you'll be like, damn. And just like this is his tactics. This is Mr. Whitlock, the so-called Christian. This Christian, Mr. Whitlock, that speaks on making a fool of a Christian faith is so much of a fucking clown. He says that. But look at this right here. I want y'all to listen and pay attention to what I'm saying. Jason Whitlock goes deep. Jason Whitlock speaks of the LGBTQ. Okay. Look at his title. Balls deep. I think, and this dude got a choker on there. I don't know if Jason Whitlock, I think these two pictures match. Jason Whitlock goes deep, and he's going deep in on the LGBTQ, and he's going in on him, on this guy with a choker. Allegedly, I don't know. Maybe he's going in on him deep. But then Mr. Whitlock speaks on Stephen A. Smith. Okay. I don't know if you got a comeback or whatever, but you say what you say, right? But then he speaks on people coming after him about speaking on Stephen A. Smith. But then he comes back using Shack Attack and trying to laugh off on Stephen A. Smith. But then Mr. Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay had Cat Williams. And Jason Whitlock, in the meantime, between time, already didn't like Shannon Sharp, but again, he wanted a taste of those views. But in the meantime, between time, he's trying to belittle him and trying to extract some attention. Here it is, want to bully and call people a loser mentality. And the thing is, why not encourage a brother instead of put them down? Aren't you a Christian? Then you got Whitlock speaking on Stephen A. Smith again. Then he goes in again. But then he uses the sister, the one that we come from their wombs. And instead of us having any animosity, any type of feelings, ill feelings towards the sister, why even put her in the line of fire? Why put her in your bullshit? But the sad part is, She's like a little trained dog. Whatever Jason Whitlock say go at, she goes at. And then they run behind the Christian faith. This is why when Charleston White said the Christian is a hormonal creature, just like any other man, but the Muslim is more dedicated to the word. Did y'all hear it? After that, then you go over, and this man's back on Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith. He's at him. I want them views. I want them views, man. But then goes into the OnlyFans game. He's going for it. He's pulling in for it. You're a Christian-based site. You come in from a biblical point of view, using women images of big titties and nice asses. That's for me. That is not for your channel. Big titties and nice asses and shit. Hey. Bring that over here. Psych. But that's for men with channels that ain't based on. That's for men that's on channels that ain't based on, Christian things of the sort. But yeah, but that's for y'all men out there. But this ain't for the Christian site. This ain't for a Christian podcast or any of the sort. And then he's right back after Stephen A. Smith. I like to say this. And look, he goes Battle of the Bastards. All of this talk, all of this disrespect, it puts a bad name on Christianity if it's being led and spoken for by a Mr. Jason Whitlock. And throughout all of this shit that this man speak on, that makes the man who's not a Christian, who don't has the faith, but I have the spirit and I have the belief of God. I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Buddhist, I'm not an atheist. I'm here. My grandmother was a Protestant Catholic. I was raised around Baptist Christian churches. And men who've been in and out of jail, who held the Bible close to them, who spoke of the word, whether they was in church or not. And all of us, are far more bigger than him. When he speak on the hood, it's sad to say that he just disconnected from the world. Because in the hood, we're tied to the world. When people get to come in the meetings and they get to talking to us, they get the understanding that we all just alike in this confinement and in this trap. Within this plantation. It's enough said, y'all. The truth is cutthroat.